100 here. 1v1 Green Tooth Gorge. Blue side is Choco Bambus as a Warp Spider Exarch. Teleporting commander fights ranged by default. Lots of nasty tricks late game, good at harassing and capping early on. Spirit we have on the red side. Force commander, fights in melee, offensive. Has a couple of buffs for his marines though. Quite versatile really as you progress into tier 2 and onwards. Banshees on the field for Choco Bambus, as you'd expect, up against Space Marines, who can struggle against melee in tier 1. Double scouts for Spirit, as you'd expect, in response. Tactical Marines also on the way. Choco Bambus, a very good Warp Spider Exarch player, so any Warp Spider Exarch players out there should watch him. Watch him have a bad game now and make a fool out of me. Here come Tactical Marines, heavy ranged infantry. Warp Spider Exarch taking the building. Now teleports out to cap. Force commander doesn't bother going after him since he'll just escape. Nodes going up from both players. More Banshees. No, aspect of Banshee, sorry, for this Banshee squad. Force commander takes centre, 500 plays 482. Early lead for Choco Bambus, thanks to the Warp Spider Exarch teleporting clean across the map to cap Spirit's natural on this west side. Choco Bambus has a natural on the east side, capped by Tactical Marines now, and this central VP in this large open area. Warp Spider Exarch going to harass some scouts. Teleports out of the Force Commander's range. Scouts take a model loss despite retreating. Tough break for Spirit. Now goes to harass this other scout squad, who are being very cheeky and trying to cap this natural wreck point right in front of Choco Bambus' base. He's determined to cap it here. Take one model loss. That's a pretty fair trade. Decapped and capped one for 2 scouts gone. Tactical Marines cap 50% faster than any other unit in the game, capping this wreck point. Though I hear Plague Marines have the same bonus, though I'm not sure if that's true. Force Commander in melee with the Warp Spider Exarch, he teleports out. Low on energy though. Force Commander might have noticed it, and Warp Spider takes the building. Rangers hit the field for Choco Bambus, another great choice against Space Marines rather. You can outrange them and do pretty high damage per shot to these Tactical Marine models, which are very expensive to lose. Guardians have their battle equipment giving them a plasma grenade and allowing them to put up energy shields, which are fantastic and a bit underused, especially by new players. Tactical Marines recapping this natural wreck point. Lots of back capping going on by both players. Spirit able to get map control here up against a Warp Spider Exarch. That's no mean feat. Though Choco Bambus has gone for Banshee straight into a tier 1.5 unit, sacrificing early map control. Lets the Guardians take over that cap with their fleet of foot, get there quickly. Rangers are of course a sniper unit. Fantastic range and burst damage against infantry. Looks like they're setting up for a shot. No, scouts might have spotted them and retreat. No upgrades for these scouts yet. 2-0 cap for Spirit. Choco Bambus taking back his natural. Assault Marines on the way for Spirit. Also has Devastators on the field. Very heavy tier 1. Devastators are a setup unit with a heavy bolter, which will suppress infantry. There is the washout, suppressing all of these Marines, catching Devastators in retreat with their power weapons. Banshees are nasty against Marines. Warp Spider Exarch takes the building. Can't shoot at these attacks though. No sign of a flamer to help him take out these generators. Warp Spider Exarch teleports in, tying them up in melee. He will die to them in melee though. He does have a fantastic special attack though, as you can see. Does 360 knockback. Rangers taking Spirit's natural. Here come the Assault Marines. Jump Infantry, very tough, fighting melee with a bolter and chainsword. Completely hard countering these Guardians here, who pretty much suck in melee. Forced off by the Assault Marines, who now have no energy for another jump. Can't protect these Tactical Marines, who get suppressed but get away with no model losses. Shuriken Cannon now hitting the field for Chocobambus. Spirit doing a great job of amassing a huge tier 1 army quicker than Chocobambus could. Using those double scouts early to cap the map. Devastator setting up. This is going to be pretty nasty for Chocobambus. Don't know where the Rangers are. They are miles away, which are his current counter to setup squads. Scouts forced off with a model loss. The others taking his natural. Going to be a 2-2 cap for Spirit here. Assault Marines jump in against the Banshees, who retreat without a model loss. They can be somewhat of a resource bleed, since they do lose models quite a lot getting in and out of melee. Tier 2 for Chocobambus goes there first, as you'd expect, with all of Spirit's stuff in tier 1. No war gear for... no, we do have the improved warp generator. And Artificer armor for the Force Commander, making him a bit tougher. Shuriken Cannon is going to be hard countered here by the Assault Marines, though we do have Banshee standing by. Wants to take out the generator though. Shuriken Cannon not shooting, is now moving on. Scouts taking back Spirit's natural. Guardians taking back Chocobambus' natural. Banshee's trying to come center, but we have a Devastator covering it. Don't think Chocobambus has noticed. These Banshees are just going to lose models. He must be macroing elsewhere. Rangers lose a model. Banshees lost 2. Have their Exarch queued up for tier 2 when Chocobambus hits it. Still no tier 2 for Spirit. Hugely contrasting tier 1 strategies then. Very heavy tier 1 for Spirit. This generator farm completely wiped out, only the node remaining. Assault Marines finally jump these shurikens, and they are forced off. Don't take any losses though. Guardians have their Warlock leader, you can see him there, giving them the embolden ability, which they have used. Grenade goes down, largely missing the Assault Marines, boosting their melee damage to Warlock. Don't think they can stand against Assault Marines though. Tier 2 for Spirit. Chocobambus has a tricky choice here now. A Falcon could be countered by Assault Marine Melter Bomb and Devastator Las Cannon. Wraith Guard would be instantly countered by Assault Marines. I think Warp Spiders would be the best choice. Double Warp Spiders would be nice. Banshees taking out this secondary power farm, much as Spirit did, though he did get the node as well. Devastators on the way back to the middle. No sign of the Tactical Marine Sergeant queued up. Banshees have their Exarch by now, I assume. You see her at the front there with a spear. Since they have aspect of Banshee, she gets a spear. Force Commander is going to take quite a lot of damage here if this Ranger fires, and it does. He's forced to retreat, in fact. Guardians can now try and decap and then cap the center. Under fire from a Devastator though. It is quite far away, so not doing huge amounts of damage. There's an Autarch. We see his choice, an Autarch, not Warp Spiders or anything else. Guardians will finish the cap. Group teleport going after these Devastators. Spirit spots it, but they still go in. Nasty, nasty war gear. Devastators almost wiping there. Now we have Banshees with their Exarch up against the Assault Marines. The Assault Marines in big trouble. Lose tons of health. Lucky not to lose a member there. Banshees are still chasing though and do take out one. Force Commander going for his Thunderhammer and his Teleporter, so he will also counter the Shurikens pretty well, boosting his mobility considerably. Thunderhammer fantastic at disruption. Many people complain that it doesn't do enough damage, but its disruption capabilities are epic, as you can see there. First hit sends the Shuriken Cannon flying, takes the building, no garrison counters. 2-0 cap for Chocobambus. Rangers are gonna be forced off by this stuff, I think, or at least have to kite back to the center. Not sure what these Guardians are doing. Getting ready for a grenade. No. Kinetic shock knocking back these tactical Marines. Here is the Autarch in her default melee state with her power sword. Sub-commander for Eldar, very, very fast and can jump around the battlefield. Can also jump over cover, as you can see there, as opposed to bashing through it, which some units do. Force Commander teleporting on the Warp Spider's face, knocking him back. Thunderhammer is actually fantastic 1v1 versus other commanders because of all the disruption it causes. Autarch forces off those scouts. Force Commander still chasing around this Warp Spider here. There's Battle Cry, which boosts the damage of nearby allies and makes the Force Commander do special attacks constantly for 10 seconds. That's his default ability. You can see the Battle Cry, these yellow circles below the Assault Marines. It wears off though. Jumped into trouble there. Autarch chasing. There is War Shout. Not sure why the Banshees ran away. Could have got losses on those tactical Marines perhaps. He thinks the Force Commander will just knock him over constantly. Autarch needs to be careful. She's often lost by new players since she's only 750 health on a single model. Assault Marines forced off without taking a loss, pretty lucky. Have their Sergeant giving them a power sword. Tier 3 for Chocobambus, who's floating loads of requisition here, over 800. 2-0 cap for Chocobambus. Banshees forced off, take 2 losses. Autarch also retreats. Still no sign of any upgrades for these tactical Marines. Perhaps waiting for a vehicle to then get a missile launcher. Scouts forced off with 2 losses thanks to these Rangers, who I think take out a scout with every shot. They now go to cap Spirit's natural. Force Commander caps, decaps rather, Choco's natural. Surprised there were no Warp Spiders in tier 2. There's a mass teleport right onto the Force Commander. He's in a tad bit of trouble here. Gets his knockback and then teleports out and then retreats. Guardians are idle, having capped this wreck point. Now they fleet to decap this wreck point. Great capping play by Chocobambus. A lot of new players forget that it's just as important to cap when you get to tier 2 onwards than the beginning of the game. Trying to take the center. Here come tactical Marines. Scouts have their Sergeant and their shotgun, giving them a fragmentation grenade. 245 plays 235, very, very close. Chocobambus is tier 3, has a crap ton of wreck. Might be going for an avatar here. Razorback on the way for Spirit. Scouts harassed by the Warp Spider. Assault Marines jumping in. All of this stuff is forced off. Center is still red. Scouts and Tax hit this power. Submarines using their jump to get to this VP, trying to decap it. Autark, look at the speed running after them. Banshees, also no slouches, running in after her. There's their war shouts. Surely that Marine is going down, and does. Here comes the Razorback, transport vehicle for Space Marines. The only vehicle counter Chocobambas has is the Executioner Spear on that Banshee Exarch, but they are forced off. Has a heavy bolter on top, does pretty nice anti-infantry damage, and can transport stuff, as you can see. Transport's always fantastic in 1v1s. They lose their effectiveness a little bit in team games, I think, just because they're vulnerable to all of the AV that's on the field. Same deal with Walkers. Force Commander forces off the Warp Spider Exarch, and we do have an Avatar on the way. Razorback trying to bash this power node. Doing a decent job. Should take it out. Here comes the Autark with her fusion gun, which is fantastic. Only available in tier 3. You rarely see it because she usually gets her spear. It does excellent damage to all targets though. Close range. There's shotgun scouts knocking back these Banshees, who need to be careful. Autark leaps, which heals them. They retreat now. Chocobambas take center, 2-to-1 cap. Avatar of Kane is on the field. Assault Marines jumping after stuff. Autark uses her immense speed to just kite away. Avatar, here it comes. Super unit for Eldar, buffs nearby infantry in a bunch of ways. Reduces the damage they take and reduces their susceptibility to suppression. Fights in melee, hugely powerful and tough as it expects. Spirit might struggle to deal with it here. Has super heavy infantry armor, so it doesn't need anti-vehicle weapons. In fact, a plasma gun would be fantastic on those tactical Marines. Devastator Marines on the way for Spirit. Might be trying to stack up on las guns, or on las cannons, sorry. Force Commander now has his Power Fist, trying to counter this Avatar then. Wailing Doom. Razorback gets in the way somewhat. Assault Marines take a bit of damage, a bit early to use it here, I think. Spirit keeping all of his forces around this Razorback. Chocobambas needs to deal with it, or this stuff is just going to reinforce. Rangers unable to cap. Retreats immediately, knowing that they die very, very quickly. He did decap though. 190 plays 224. Spirit preserving units fantastically well. Did lose a Devastator, but has nice forces on the field. Both scouts have their sergeants and shotguns. This squad even getting its infiltration training. 188 plays 224. Fire Prism on the way for Chocobambas. Pretty good choice, I think. Would be able to deal with Spirit's blob of infantry pretty well with constant knockbacks. Avatar yet to engage anything. Autark still level 1. Warp Spider Exarch level 4. Force Commander level 2. Guardians taking Spirit's natural. 171 plays 224. A 1-to-1 cap. 2-to-1 for Chocobambas still soon. Force Commander has a lot to deal with here, taking fusion gun hits, Warp Spider Exarch and Banshee hits. Avatar didn't get involved. He should be able to get away. And does. Chocobambas has now spotted that las cannon if he hadn't before. And she's still chasing here. Autark jumps in, her jump also disrupts. Las cannon Devastator's caught in retreat, lose a model. Razorback here to help out. Avatar is standing around the center, fire prism on the field. Vehicle with a kind of artillery shot, large AoE knocking back infantry. Decent anti-vehicle damage though. Razorback took quite a lot of damage from that fusion gun. If the Autarch can jump in behind it and get some rear armor hits, that thing would die pretty fast. Spirit now going tier 3, no cancels it. Has the zeal for Terminators and doesn't go tier 3. Goes for a Devastator Plasma Cannon instead. Artillery unit for Space Marines need to set up. Warp Spider Exarch fully kitted out now. Entangling Web. Warp Generator. And his improved targeters. Good utility and decent damage for him then. Force Commander focusing on teleporting in and exploding Eldar heads with his Power Fist. Razorback is idle on this side with scouts. A lot of units to manage for both players. It's going to test their micro. Tactical Marines getting a missile launcher. Not sure, perhaps to try and deal with that fire prism. Ouch, Assault Marines taking tons of damage from Rangers and fire prism. Lose a member in fact. Tactical Marines forced off. Lascannon getting hits on the Avatar which will snare it. He's in melee with the Force Commander. Not sure what the Force Commander is trying to do. Is not going to win 1v1 without support and is forced off. Banshee's trying to get him in retreat here. Don't chase for long. Warp Spider Exarch takes center, 160 plays 182. Very, very close game. Razorback over here covering Spirit's natural. Banshees might get some rear armor hits with that spear. Fusion gun certainly is. Almost taking out this Razorback in seconds. He wants to finish it off, really does, and does finish it off. Excellent attack by Choco Mabus. Looks like he's going to get away pretty much unscathed. Only lost one Banshee squad. Choco Bambus, a daring raid there. Spirit just a bit too slow to spot. So Autarch closing in. Fire Prism I don't think has even moved since it came out of base. Covering Choco Bambus' natural VP and natural power. 2-to-1 cap then. Looks like Choco Bambus focusing most of his stuff on center and east as you'd expect. Does have something decapping the west though. Tactical Marines with their Sergeant and their missile launcher at level 2. Assault Marines at level 2. Power Fist disables the Fire Prism, which makes the mistake of turning around, getting rear arm hits. Here's a Weight of Doom, which might save it. No, takes it out in fact, I think. Or perhaps the Force Commander did. Assault Marines losing models to the Avatar. Force Commander levels to 3. Warp Spider Exarch is 5 now. 2-to-1 cap for him. Should be teleporting to the center and decapping, surely. Isn't though. It's only a Devastator Plasmas are there. Autarch will try to cap. Is gonna be knocked down. There's a mass teleport, that's why he wasn't. This is a dead Plasma squad. Lascannon gets away. Autarch decaps. Fantastic play from Choco Bambus. Mass teleport is such a dangerous ability, especially against Space Marines when you can teleport into the heavily armoured setup teams with Banshees. Tactical Marines now in close combat with Banshees, not where they want to be. Sergeant goes down. Might lose the squad. Saved by Assault Marines. Banshees need to get the hell out of there now. 160 plays 113, tier 3 for Spirit. Lost the Razorback, lost the Devastators, lost the Scout Squad. He can get Terminators though soon. Well, soonish. Needs some more wreck points. Huge map control for Choco Bambus here. Warp Spider being so annoying and actually capped this wreck point. That is ridiculously annoying. Rangers forced off. Warp doing fantastic damage to those assault marines with that fusion gun. She's level 2 now. Here comes the Avatar. Chocobamba's using the Avatar very well defensively, not being too aggressive with it and marching it into base or anything like that. Using it when Spirit gets too close. Banshee's back on the field. They are now level 4. They are pretty fearsome. Warp Spider Exarch just about gets away. Force Commander teleports after him. Now going after the Fire Prism. Chocobambas needs to move it. If it gets a disabling hit, it's in trouble. Rear armor hit takes a nice chunk of its health. Does knock back the Force Commander though, who will be forced off. Scouts decap the east, but now are forced off. Guardians are capping Spirit's natural 160 pace 60. Spirit in a bit of trouble here. Still 300 requisition off of Terminators. They just can't cap. Warp taking back Chocobambas' natural. Gonna have a 2-to-1 when these tacticals finish. Spirit having huge problems dealing with this Avatar. Assault Terminators with Lightning Claws will make short work of it, but that's a big ask. Assault Marines jumping a bit belatedly, getting back their Sergeant. Can you Melter Bomb the Avatar? I think you can. It's now moving into melee with the Force Commander. There's Wrath of Kane. AoE ability, which suppresses, does it? Didn't know that. Banshees moving in on Assault Marines, which are in retreat. Lose 2 members. Force Commander might die here, in fact does, to the Avatar, skewing him on its sword and tossing him aside. Surely this is a win for Chocobambas. Spirit should have gone tier 3 instead of getting that Plasma Devastator, I think. With that mass teleport on the field, I think 2 setup teams was a mistake. Warp now has her shield. 160 pace, 15. Looks like Spirit has all but given up. Calls GG. Drop pod to reinforce there. And that's a concede by Spirit. Fantastic game from both players. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.